Welcome to Asher Torah in Time. We're up to Melachim Beis, Kings 2, Perek Beis. Vayhi b'halois avayas Eliyahu b'sa'alois hashamayim vayelech Eliyahu v'Elisha min ha'Gilgal. Gevald. This is what happened when Hashem took Eliyahu Hanavi up to heaven b'sa'alois hashamayim, like a mighty wind. And a storm wind. Vayelech Eliyahu v'Elisha min ha'Gilgal. So they go up from Gilgal. Now, Eliyahu Hanavi knew that he's going to be going up to heaven in a different way, in a different manner. Vayomer Eliyahu el Elisha. So Eliyahu tells Elisha, "Shave no poi ki Hashem shalachani ad beis keil." He tells him, "Wait over here, because God sent me to go near Beis Keil." Vayomer Elisha. So Elisha, the Talmud, tells Eliyahu Hanavi, "Chai avai v'chai nafshecha," that I'm going to continue on with you. Im ezvecha, if I'm going to leave you, then the shvur that I made should be fall upon me. Vayedu Beis Keil, so they both go down to Beis Keil. Now, if you just for curiosity's sake, if you look at the maps, you see that they went like crazy distances in a very short amount of time. It's also all part of the Eliyahu Hanavi, the tales of Eliyahu Hanavi. Vayetzu b'nei Nevi'im. So these b'nei Nevi'im are like Nevi'im in training. Nevi'im in training. You're like a b'nei. There's Nevi'im and there's b'nei Nevi'im. I was trying to figure out what's the difference in Nevi'im and b'nei Nevi'im. B'nei Nevi'im are like student Nevi'im. They're apprentice Nevi'im. They're Nevi'im who are in the process that sometimes they have prophetic visions or experiences, but it's not who they've become yet. Vayetzu b'nei Nevi'im asher beis keil el Elisha v'hayomeru elav hayadai ki hayoim Hashem lokech asadonecha. So they tell Elisha, "Do you know that today your master is going to be going up to heaven? Me'al roshcha, Hashem lokech asadonecha me'al roshecha," meaning that your crown is going to be removed. Your master is your crown, and your crown is going to be removed. That's where the Hashem lokech asadonecha, right? And now me'al roshecha is going to be removed from your head because your master is like a crown. Your Rebbe is like a crown, and when the Rebbe gets taken up to heaven, your crown has been removed. So Elisha tells them, "Gam ani yadaiti." Yeah, I know, but hecheshu, keep silent. Keep silent. Why did he want him to be quiet? Either pshat is because he didn't want anybody to know, or because he didn't want anybody to know that he is going to be there b'shas Eliyahu Hanavi goes up to heaven, or he didn't want that Eliyahu Hanavi should know. He tells him to be quiet. I guess that when big things happen, it's always good to be quiet. Elisha. So Eliyahu said, "Elisha, shave no poi ki Hashem shalachani Yericho." He says, "You wait here, because God sent me to go to Yericho." So Elisha tells Eliyahu, "Chai avai v'chai nafshecha im ezveko." I'm staying with you. Vayavoyu Yericho, and both of them end up going to Yericho. Vayikshu b'nei Nevi'im hashi b'Yericho. And now the new students from Yericho come over to him. These are the new student prophets of Yericho. Come to Elisha v'yomeru elav hayadai ki hayoim Hashem lokech asadonecha me'al roshecha. Did you know that? Vayomer, and Elisha says, "Gam ani yadati." Yeah, I know. Hecheshu. Keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. Vayomer Eliyahu, shave no poi. He tells him a second time, "Stay here. Ki Hashem shalachani hayardena," because God sent me to the Jordan. Now again, check out the map. They're going from like, they're going like all different directions. Ki Hashem shalachani hayardena vayomer chai Hashem v'chai nafshecha im ezveka. Vayelchu shneim. It's like Vayechu Shneim Yachtov, you know? Like by the Akedah, Vayechu Shneim, they're both going together. But it's 3 times he's trying to shake him off, and he doesn't allow himself to be shaken off, which is the true Talmud. When the Rebbe goes here, the Rebbe goes there, he sticks it out with the Rebbe. And he also doesn't talk. That's another message that we get over here. Hechashu. Nicht alles, was der Weiß darf zu sagen. And the Talmidim who stick it out with the Rebbe know how to keep their mouth shut too. V'chamishem ish mibnei anaviyim holchu. So 50 of them are following Eliyahu and Elisha. Vayamdu mineged mirachoik. They're standing, you know, like from across, from the distance. Ushneim amdu ala yarden. And Eliyahu and Elisha are standing on the edge of the Jordan. Vayikach Eliyahu sadarto. Eliyahu Hanavi took his cloak. Vayigloim, he rolled it up. So now they have to cross the Jordan. So Eliyahu Hanavi takes his coat, his cloak, wraps it up, and he hits the water with it. And where he hits, the water splits. But the chiddush over here was that it didn't only split enough for Eliyahu Hanavi to walk, it split enough for Eliyahu and Elisha to walk. And they both go through the dryness. The Velvel always comes V'saris HaShamayim. Mamash by the Rebbe Avi. It comes mamash in that moment when it's like an antenna that you have. Vahika Avram. It was as they were passing the Jordan. Eliyahu Amar el Elisha. Eliyahu tells Elisha. So you have to understand that they're like crossing from one domain to a different domain. They're in the process now of crossing, like from one world to the next. And on that shvil, when they were b'charava in this miraculous, like Kriyas Yamsuf, this mini Kriyas Yamsuf, when they're walking through b'charava, b'toich hayam. By Abasha, they're in that zone. Eliyahu tells Elisha, Sha'al, Ma esel lecha b'terem elokach mi'imach. Ask me what you want before I get taken from you. Here with Elisha, so what does Elisha ask for? Nein, nicht zu gewinnen in der Lotterie. Nein, nicht das. Nicht gebeten, wo ne Chaim, so in der Reviche. Nein, nicht gebeten. Also so können Elisha v'hino pi shnayim beruchacha Eloi. Bestow upon me double the amount, or double the pi shnayim of the Shechina, of what it rested upon you. That means the divine inspiration or the divine presence that you were privy to. Bestow upon me double. Give me double the amount of Asherah, of a likos. About Vayomer, Eliyahu tells Elisha, Elisha, you asked something hard. You asked a difficult thing. Because how can I give you more than what I've gotten? You can only give what you got. But Eliyahu Hanavi,
saying it depends what it is. If you're giving someone a light, and he has a lot more to burn than you have, you know what I mean? A little candle to light a building.
Right. Can't give more than I've gotten. However, he says, when you're asking for double the amount, when you're asking for a double hashirah of a lekos, so then basically what you're asking is for the beyond. He was asking for, he asked Eliyahu, he said, give me the beyond. The beyond, you're beyond. So he says, if you're going to witness and you're going to see me being taken up beside Hashemayim, which means you're going to witness something from the beyond, then, you'll be getting the double Hashra. V'm'ayin lo yeh.
He's going to be seeing what Eliyahu didn't see. Eliyahu
Right.
didn't see himself going there.
Right. Right. You're going to be seeing it. Right. Which means Eliyahu is really saying it doesn't come from me. I can only give you what I've gotten. But if you'll be zoicha to see what I can see, then from heaven you'll be getting a double or pikama of what I've been seeing. So they're schmoozing, they're talking. Suddenly there's this chariot of fire, horses of fire. So there's this chariot and horses of fire. And it's dividing between the two, it's in between. And he goes up with a storm wind to the heavens, like this fiery storm takes him up, presumably on this chariot, on this horses, on this chariot, takes him up to heaven. And Elisha sees, and he's yelling, and here comes these very, very famous words, that whenever somebody is nifted in Yerushalayim, this goes up on the placards. Avi, Avi, Rechav Yisrael Ufrashov. Rebbe. Avi means my father, but means Avi, Rechav Yisrael Ufrashov, who used to help the Jews with his tefillah more than a Rechav Ufrashov. That means a chariot with horses gets you only so far. But Eliyahu Hanavi got us so much further. So when he was yelling, Avi, Rechav Yisrael Ufrashov, he just saw a vision of how this chariot is flying up to heaven. He just saw Rechav Yisrael Ufrashov. And he said he saw this vision of this fiery. You have to understand that horses and wagons are about taking you places. A fiery horse and wagon is about taking you up places. It's about taking you places to beyond. And he was yelling, Avi, Rechav Yisrael Ufrashov, that Eliyahu Hanavi was way beyond that. His tefillas and what he did for Klal Yisrael transcended and went way past anything that a Rechav Yisrael, that a fiery chariot and fiery horses can bring you to. And he saw him no longer. And he grabbed onto his clothing and he ripped kriya and he ripped it into two. The way a Talmud rips kriya when his master is gone. But it's like, whatever, it's just, when you have Eliyahu Hanavi with Elisha, there's no system then in Klal Yisrael. There's no like halach and shulchan aruch that says, when somebody dies, you're supposed to cry, Avi, Rechav Yisrael Ufrashov, and now you rip kriya. You look at how you're supposed to rip the kriya. You do a razor, you have to rip it this way and that way. This is the first time we're describing how from an inner place of gaguim and his pilus, and it's like disbelief and grief and wonder and everything together. This is how it expressed itself. Vayodem esaderes, picked up his cloak. Vayodem esaderes Eliyahu. When he went up to heaven, his cloak fell down. And this was, remember, the second time that Elisha, the first time Eliyahu Hanavi met Elisha, he threw his cloak over him. That was the way how he gave him the makifim. That's how he gave him over the makifim. That's how he gave him over his ashra, his ashpa, just like a talus, his makifim, the bina, it's makifim. So he returns to the edge of the Jordan, and he hits the water the same way Eliyahu Hanavi did. He hits the water too. And he says, where is the God of Eliyahu that promised me that if I'm going to see, Eliyahu promised me that if I'm going to see him go up from the heaven, I'm going to have kiflayim. So Afhu, therefore, when he did the same thing that Eliyahu Hanavi did, vayakas hamayim, he hits the water. Vayechotzu heina v'heina, it splits the water. That means one side of the water stopped running, The other side continued down. So now there was a dry path in between. Elisha, and Elisha crosses over the Jordan the same way as the Rebbe did. So there was a new Rebbe in town. The new Rebbe, but this new Rebbe had double the amount. Could you imagine that? Sometimes Aliyah Sadoris. Sometimes you have these things that usually it's Yirid Sadoris, and we say, there's this generation to that generation, but once in a while you have like a Rebbe comes down from heaven, which is like, something totally different. It's taka. You go through the Toldos and Klal Yisrael, you had like, sometimes it was like, so that's the Elisha Rebbe. That's double. So the Bnei Nevi'im, they were standing, the apprentice Nevi'im are standing on the other side. And they said, whoa, did you see that? Did you see how this water splitting for the new Rebbe? Gewalt. The spirit of Eliyahu is on Elisha. They bow down. They Makabel Modas.
There was no fight over it.
There was no fight. Everybody was Makabel Modas. It's like, I always remember the story that I was once by Rebbe Friedman, Allah Shalom. It was a Yeshiva in 770. It was in the Einikel. And it was a Fabrengen. It was the first time I was sitting by one of his Fabrengen. He was a big Ilui, Rebbe Friedman. Mamshi Ilui, Nukala Terekula. She used to throw. Anyway, it was a whole Fabrengen. He was saying, the Rebbe Zog. And it took me like a few hours to start happening that. One time when he says the Rebbe Zog, he meant the Alter Rebbe. A different time he's saying the Rebbe Zog means the Rebbe Riyatz. Then when he says the Rebbe can mean the Rebbe Marash, and another time it means the Rebbe. Lubavitcher Rebbe. And so finally, like, somewhere in the middle of the Fabrengen, I said, who's the Rebbe? So he says, Sidon ain't the Rebbe. Amolis is given the Alter Rebbe. Amolis is given the Mittler Rebbe. Amolis is loy nafkamina. The Rebbe Zogt. That means there's a position in the Bria called the Rebbe. It's different people come and take to see, but it's irrelevant what his name was. So the Rebbe Zogt. So I'm saying like, the Rebbe, there's a new Navi in town. Once he was called Eliyahu, now he's called Elisha, loy nafkamina. They said, Nacha Ruach Eliyahu al Elisha, and the Rebbe is back in town. So they bow down to him. So these Bnei Anavim, Vayomru Elav, Hine no yesh es avodecha chamishim anoshim v'nei chayil. Yilchu no v'yavakshu es adonecha penesoi ruach Hashem v'yashlicheu. They said, maybe we have here these 50 of us guys, and we should go look a little. We have to see what happened to Eliyahu Hanavi. He disappeared. I mean, where's your Rebbe? Where's the old master? Maybe maybe a wind blew him. And his body maybe is on one of the mountains or on one of the Amakim, one of the valleys. And we'll find his body and we'll bury him. Like somehow they saw that he disappeared and they saw that a wind took him away and just dropped his body somewhere. And Elisha says, nah.
No one saw. He left.
And he sees that he doesn't come back alone. And they wanted to know, where's the Rebbe? Where is he? What happened to the Rebbe? We have to look for him. But it's Mamash Apella. It's Mamash Apella how you're talking about Bnei Anavim, and they wanted to look for like a dead body of the old Rebbe that somehow God just like dumped onto one of the mountains.
And they knew that he's going up to heaven. They told him.
They told him before, right? They told him beforehand that your Rebbe is. So they knew he's going to die. They didn't know he's going up to heaven. They knew that Eliyahu Hanavi was going to die, but they couldn't fathom this idea. Just like we can't either fathom this idea that somebody goes up to heaven. People die. Great people die. But their body gets abandoned over here. And if their body gets abandoned, they have to come to Kvuda. So we have to find them somewhere. He was taken up to heaven, but his body was somewhere, and it's just... So this concept that Eliyahu Hanavi was this level that his body also ascends up to heaven, and that he reached such a level of tahara that Leitam Ta'am Misa Kvuda, that was a brand new concept and a brand new level that they had no asaga, so they just physically had to look for the Rebbe and bury the dead body. What?
Since Chanukah, it never happened, right?
Yeah. Vayivtziru voy ad boish. So they're mamish driving him, they're going after Elisha. They're not finishing, the Melachim Nishnuch, they want to know what are we going to do? We have to bury Eliyahu Hanavi. So they were timing that Elisha doesn't care anymore about the Rebbe. He became now the Rebbe. Soll the alte Rebbe stinken, Chas v'shulam. He took over the Rebbe Steve, and the guy didn't do it, but Lamasa, du a bezoin, was es an ames. Finally he said, you know what, guys, will sich and sich. So they're looking, they're searching, they sent out this whole search team. And like they said before, they sent to 50 in all different directions. So they covered a tremendous amount of place, 50 people in one area, covering in all different directions. Right? And you're not talking about a woods, right? You're talking about a midbar, more or less, open, that, that type of terrain. They don't find them. They come back, Elisha is sitting in Yericho. I told you shouldn't go. Ich habe gesagt, ich soll nicht gehen. Marti Aleichem, Alte Aleichem. Vayomer, Anshe Ir El Elisha.
Welcher Shevet ist Elisha?
Welcher Shevet ist Elisha? I don't know. Marti Aleichem, Alte Aleichem. Vayomer, I don't know. We know Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Tishbi, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Is probably is Binyamin? No.
Was it Pinchas? Not Pinchas Eliyahu?
Pinchas Eliyahu. No. No.
I'm sorry, but it's from Levi. Eliyahu is
Ephraim is probably Ephraim. I don't know.
One of the says
Anyway, so one of the people from Yericho told Elisha, now, I don't know if you remember back in the story that was one of the stories we had was this guy who built Achiel, his name was, who rebuilt Yericho and he wasn't allowed to, and then he died, and his first son and his last son, they died in the city. But once it was rebuilt, people moved into it. So the city is rebuilt, but the water is bad. Okay, I think we're going to leave these two stories for tomorrow on Pasuk Yotes.
Just a couple of people.
No, it's two stories over here. Okay, you know what? Let's finish it. He says the water is bad, and whoever drinks from the water, Mishakolas, gets killed, dies. So they came to Elisha that he should help them. Bring me a new plate and put inside salt. So they brought him. He came to the place where there was water. He throws in the salt. So says God, I heal this water. There should be no more death. There should be no more death. How do you translate Mishakolas? Mishakolas? Loss of life.
Verse 21, he went to the water source, cast off there, and he said, so said the Lord, I have cured this water. There will not be death and be revelation. The fact that by nature the soul should have worship to the quality of the water served to emphasize the miracle.
Eliyahu used that.
לא יהיה משום עוד מובס משקולס, וירפו המים עד היום הזה, וירפו המים עד היום הזה, כדבר אלישע שדיבר.
Till today, we have to find that water.
And now after this water got like sweetened, another story, this is already the second story. Eliyahu Hanavi has 8 miracles that Eliyahu Hanavi does. And Elisha, according to the Cheshbon of Chazal, being that he asked for double, he gets 16, even though really you'll see there's 19. But the 3 is like a whole discussion if they count it as miracles or not. So anyway, one miracle, so we're up to already miracle 2. First miracle was that it split, that the Yarden split. Second one was that he sweetens the water from Yericho. And the third one is Vayal Misham Beiskel. So Chazal say that the story of here was that there was kids who they used to sell the salty water. They made panusa from selling salty water to Yericho. And now that the water source was cleaned up, so they lost their business. Vayal Misham Beiskel who oil baderech una adam ketanim yatzu, and a bunch of little kids come out and they were making fun of him. And they told him, go up baldy, go up baldy. They told him that he was bald. They made fun of him. They said, go up baldy, go up baldy. He turned around and saw them, and Chazal say, he saw that there's nothing good going to come from them. That they're rotten to the core. Right, right. Curse them in the name of Hashem, which is like totally not politically correct. The story, like, you should have went like taken them to Avi Fishoff, and they were really children who nobody understood them, and they weren't given any love, and that's because they were out of the moistus, or because they were in of the moistus. Anyway, 2 beers, he curses them in the name of God. 2 beers come out from the woods, and that's what it says. This is where the expression comes from. Right, the expression is if there was if there was a forest but there was no beers, so the nest was that beers came out. Or one day is there was no beers, it was just like a vision of.
It was a double nest.
It was a double nest that somehow. Now, why this had to be the miracle, or what's the message of a miracle that there was dubim and a yad, and that's the way how these 42 mechitzufim had to get their chinuch, that we don't know. He tore apart 42 of these children. Chazal are busy. What was the story of the neshamas of these 42 boys? What was the message of it? Were they the children from the Baal, or were they whatever? A lot of different opinions on it. And from there, he went up to Har Carmel. From there, he went to Shamron.